Fiber digestibility can mean better animal performance and more return for your dollars. Alforex High-Gest Alfalfa has proven to be a product that gives you more fiber digestibility for your cows. And that's important because, as Dr. John Gazer told us recently from Rock River Labs, testing forages is important so you know what you're feeding, as every year results will change.
We're seeing some things come through or some averages and trends that we haven't necessarily recognized previously. It seems as though every year brings something new in farming and animal nutrition. So in summarizing what was largely grown through the summer in growing season 2018 in the upper Midwest and Wisconsin specifically, it's been a pretty average year, if you will, for alfalfa, hay, and haylage crops. What I typically look at as a nutritionist will be the fiber content, as fiber is one of the bigger limiting factors in dairy and feedlot diets, being that it's digested to about half the extent that starch is, for example, or protein. But the fiber levels in the crop are hanging around long-term averages at about 43, 44, 45% throughout the state. And then the digestibility, fiber digestibility, which is simply summarized with an RFQ or a more advanced measurement like Professor Combs with the University of Wisconsin using his total track NDF digestibility model. If anything, we might be slightly up in fiber digestibility potential this year, but we're talking in the neighborhood of maybe 1 or 2 units, so nothing that will lead to a dramatic or substantial shift in, I think, recognized performance or feeding quality.
And Dr. Gazer, based on, again, your work as an animal nutritionist, taking into account those kind of test results, what about farmers' expectations for their feed supply as far as making milk?
Good question. That's, at the end of the day, what matters. We've been experiencing some pretty tough financial stress and times, and the forecast out in the next 12 to 18 months from a projected margin standpoint, looking at futures and corn and beans from an input cost, it doesn't look all that pretty, bouncing around what looks to be break-even cost per hundredweight. So efficiency, maybe even getting more energy out of a pound of feed needs to be our focus going forward. The market's flooded with milk. We don't necessarily need more milk at this point. We need to do it more efficiently. So what can we expect, back to your question, out of the feed this year from an alfalfa standpoint? I think pretty similar, if anything, maybe slightly more efficiency in terms of energy per pound or energy per ton. Unfortunately, the corn crop, chops for corn silage and high moisture corn, earlage, snaplage, doesn't look to be holding up that trend. In fact, it's actually trending backwards pretty substantially. Unfortunately, what are pretty strong grain yields and maybe higher starch contents in corn silage, maybe a little bit less fiber, unfortunately are being met with really tough and challenged fiber digestibility potential. So I think we might be looking at diets and rations where we might want to push a little bit more alfalfa, maybe alternative forages, maybe non-forage fiber in diets to try and offset what it looks like the corn silage is going to bring in.
Thank you, Doctor. Dr. John Gazer with Rock River Labs, talking about the importance of that fiber digestibility in those crops. Alforex High-Gest 360 and 460 can give you that added forage digestibility that means so much in the production levels and the value in your operation.